gang's all here. It's time to party. Hey, hey.
Ha!
I'm on a blockchain with it, and my blockchain monkeys full of octane in them. You know the vibe, plus we shredded than a motherfucker. Baka taka baka taka baka taka baka taka. Yeah, crash monkeys. Yeah, crash monkeys. Go Planet of the Apes, gorillas in a mess. All these bad rules all over my shit. It go.
Algorand, they just have so much going on. You know what I mean? You could never run out of things to say with Algorand, so it's free game.
Yeah. Lauren and I were just talking to the Zestbloom team last night. So we got an interview in the can with them that she's working on the editing and that kind of stuff. And I'm just super stoked about not just Zestbloom, but the NFT market in general and what all is happening with it. Especially music NFTs. Yeah. I really feel like that's a market that is about to blow up.
It's happening.
I know. Yeah, you've dabbled in some music. I've heard Lauren does that too. We've got a couple of other artist friends who are interested in that, and I feel like that's going to happen. It's just going to take somebody to like boost it over the edge.
Yeah,
I had a friend who was interested in investing, and actually we own Algorand.io. So it looks like Algo Radio.
Yeah.
But right, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
But the initial music NFT that I put out, he was like, okay, if it sells 50, we'll spend some more money on it and what have you, and we'll put on some virtual concerts. And I think I sold like 36 of them or something. I don't know.
That's cool.
So
it's close.
Yeah, we're close.
Close to the goal.
So if you're watching, go buy New York Queens.
Nice. I saw that. Not to cut you up. I saw on Twitter one of the guys from TuneCore is with Algorand now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So like people are making the switch that were in the overall crypto verse.
Mm-hmm.
And people, from other chains, people from other industries, people from, we're gathering like just new folks now.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it was just kind of us just kind of swirling around, right? Like, you post on my stuff, I repost yours, Lauren comes in the mix. We there's a bunch of us that just kind of repost stuff.
Right.
And you get your information from kind of a set source. But I noticed that, like on Twitter, for instance, my follower rankings have increased, and when I go check who it is, they're not following like a ton of people in the Algorand community yet. So we must be attracting some people from outside somehow.
Yeah.
And honestly,
like making people interested in dabbling.
Yeah. And it's not like I can purposely market to them. I think they must just be searching for Algorand and trying to find more information because it's getting through mainstream, like Scaramucci's on CNBC,
right?
Or you know what I mean? So they see it on TV maybe, and then they go do a search for it.
Yeah.
And then they find us, and then they're like, okay, here's somebody, or here's how we find something else about the blockchain.
Yep.
Well, I think what helps is, we've been putting out videos, and we still have a couple more videos planned where we talk about how Algorand is out here to help, save the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only have one planet. There's no planet B. Although some people would argue that, with Elon Musk and all of that, but still, I mean, we need to take care of the planet that we have.
Yeah.
And I think with sustainability being a huge trend right now across all sorts of industries, I think that helps, since we are putting out videos kind of saying, why Bitcoin, or how Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of messing up our ecosystem, how Algorand is, or what was the latest video? Top 10 reasons why Algorand is the most environmental blockchain.
Yeah.
Environmentally friendly blockchain. I think, with all of that being trending, I think that's helping people find Kryptonurd.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And not just Kryptonurd, but I think
Algorand.
Just Algorand,
Yeah,
man.
I was just gonna say that upping the production quality, I think, makes those videos like more palatable. So Lauren is relatively new to the crypto, universe. She joined. She was really more like social media aspect, and she's like, "Hey, this crypto stuff is kind of cool. Monty, can you teach me some?" and I'm like, "Yeah, go watch some videos." But then I realized like the daily videos that like I put out, you put out, the JT Invest, like everybody puts out stuff. It's all like some of it's a lot of it's like newsy.
Right.
And so you've got to like be in the community already, because we're talking about what this impact was. Right. And if you don't know the backstory or the tutorial, the basics, you're just like, all right, that just sounded like a bunch of gibberish right there.
I was like, what is going on? I'm like Googling a whole bunch of stuff, barely 5 minutes into the video, and I already have all these tabs open. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I get people who are asking me about like, different projects, and they're really excited about the stuff. And my first thing I say to them is like, are you ready to actually like do some research? Because you're not going to be able to find out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really have to dig in it. But once you get a good grasp of it, it's so much fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I feel like there should be a crypto school. It's like IT. IT is always forever changing. Crypto's the same way. I'm like, they need to have like crypto university or something.
Yeah. Because I do a few one-on-ones with people, but like to be able to get this stuff out, you know what I mean? You really got to have like some sort of like online program or some like academy or something like set up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For somebody new coming in. I
think just getting into like just understanding what Bitcoin is and Ethereum. That's usually most people's like entry point.
Yeah,
it's not a Polkadot or a Solana or Algorand. It's everybody. For most people that I talk to, they just assume every cryptocurrency is called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, how do you know what's the difference between this Bitcoin and this Bitcoin? and you don't want to tell them like, well, that's not Bitcoin, but
right,
because you want to encourage them,
right?
Yeah.
You want to help. You want to tell them so much different. But when I see somebody brand new, I will start them off with Bitcoin, even though that's not my favorite project.
Yeah.
I feel as though that's a basic beginner for people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been here longer.
What was your entry point? Like, how'd you get into this whole mess?
Scams and Bitcoin.
Monty, weren't we talking about scams yesterday?
Yeah, we were. So one of the reasons like I even started making videos in the first place is because there wasn't some reliable content for Algorand. And in 2017, the whole ICO mess was happening. And
I could, not to cut you off, but I could tell that about you, and that's why I watched kept watching the channel. I'm like, yes, quality.
Right. So I was just worried that like people were going to get taken advantage of, because it's a market that's ripe for that. And anyway, like long story short, like I invested in a couple of ICOs that were just total scams. And it was one of those things like, they're like, oh, you got to hurry up and get in before this happens. And
yes,
they were like, that urgency, and you got to go fast, and then you don't really have a chance to do your own research. And then, I was like, man, that's messed up. That didn't feel good. Now, luckily, I made a bunch of other moves that were good. And eventually I found Algorand, but I was in XRP before Algorand.
Oh, okay.
And Electronium, the British Bitcoin, right? I liked Electronium. I was in the ICO for Electronium.
I loved it. I love the Electronium.
I still hold a bunch of it. They're doing the British pound thing with XRP now and Quant. But in any case, I was just like, man, I'll put out some news, and hopefully people will watch a few of it. And some of my first videos got like 6,000 or 7,000 views, and I was like, okay, well, people really are starving for this kind of information.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, okay, I'll put this out, on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
And now it like consumes, like 4 to 6 hours of my life every day. It's like,
it'll get you.
It was like a full-time job. I would bet it's at least 40 hours a week once you count weekends.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes like because I have 2 kids too. And I want to be on it more, but it does require a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got 4. Lauren's got 2. I have 1 furry baby now, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
A doggo.
Did he go out this morning?
Chris took him out. My boyfriend took him out.
Yeah.
So I'll have to ask him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It was a little sketchy. The kids though, do they watch you do the crypto stuff?
The kids?
How old are they?
3 and 6. So not quite yet. A little bit.
Yeah. So
I got him showing coins and stuff like that.
yeah, right. Mine made a whole like NFT series.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were like, hey, my 12-year-old, so he plays Fortnite and stuff on, he's playing video games. He's like, hey, can I upgrade the graphics card? And I was like, I'm not buying that. He's like, well, he got together with the 10-year-old and he got the 10-year-old on Procreate, and they're making NFTs, man. So they made the Algorand series. So like if you go search it, they're verified on NFT Explorer. They got their own Twitter account. I was like, listen, I can't let you just be on Twitter. Like, they're like, okay, well, parent run Twitter account for Algorand. But that's
be just like his dad.
That's awesome.
Their stuff. Yeah, I was like, okay, well,
and he started early.
Here's how you do the drops. Here's how you do the release. You can't do it all at once. They got to have rarity. and they made a whole plan though. I was impressed. And I mean, they didn't make like a fortune or anything, but I think they made like $50 or $60 or something.
Nice.
So like,
I mean, I could use an extra $50.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
It was like making NFTs might be like the new mowing your lawn. You know what I mean? Like, when I was little, like we'd go like try and mow people's lawns or wash people's cars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now
how you feel about Yodlee?
Oh man, I'm a huge fan of Yodlee.
Same.
Their price was down a little bit today, but I don't really, and it's been down. I think just in general for the last like week and a half, 10 days. I don't mention price a lot on my channel or do price predictions or any of that kind of stuff because I just feel like the fundamentals are there.
Yeah.
They just announced that ARC pool. And
now
you hopped in there.
What I did was I saw it on the Yodlee. I said, "What's this?" So, like a brand new newbie, I aped in with my Yodlee, staked that for that, and then I went to do my research.
Yep. I've been checking them out a little bit, and I posted something last night, and I was like, man, the TVL for that pool jumped up pretty fast.
Yeah, real fast.
And I wasn't really sure because the ARC was not really, it didn't seem like it was making a whole lot of waves in our circles, but maybe in Asia overseas, people are like all over it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think Yodlee's doing great work because they're paving the way for more ASAs to come on board.
Yeah.
They just got listed on that Thai exchange. I forget the name of it.
Oh, they're on another exchange now.
They're on another exchange now. Okay. Yeah. And it seems like they are, making inroads so that every ASA has a path to get listed on like Mexi, that Thai exchange, whoever they've got coming up next. They run the pools in their website, and they start with Yodlee to the ASA, and then it seems like the trend is to go from the ASA to the ASA, so that they kind of wean people back off their Yodlee and get it back. And I think it's great. And the name Yodlee, I mean, it's yield farming. I mean, it's what it is. That's how they're launching folks and how they're processing their launch pad. They're leveraging their own name and their own coin. And eventually I see Yodlee as like the international marketplace. So I don't know if you've been to like I don't know. I'm from Hawaii originally. So in Hawaii, we have this place called the International Marketplace, and you stop at the International Marketplace, and everybody knows what it is. It's like this big giant swap meet, and U.S. dollars are not the only currency there. It's almost like as if the International Marketplace has like its own currency, and that marketplace is Yodlee. So if you want to interact with like the Algorand hub, if you want to interact with Algorand, or if you want to interact with Smile, or you want to interact with ARC or Opulous or Xfinity or who's the other one that just joined? Gem. Did you see Gem join the NFT marketplace? So their ASA alliance is growing, and I think of Yodlee as like the airport or the international marketplace. So you hop in from Ethereum, you fly in, you swap it out to some Yodlee, and you know how when you go to the airport, like everybody's got a kiosk.
Right.
So like you're like, it's not the actual store, but they got a kiosk there. So there's like an Opulous kiosk, or there's a Gems kiosk, or there's an
Right.
Xfinity kiosk. And if you want to interact with all these folks, you got to, like, when you land, you got to exchange your Ethereum for Yieldly.
Right.
So that you can interact with all these kiosks, and you might pay a little bit more for the convenience of having all of these hubs in one location.
Right.
But I'm okay with that. Like, I know if I go shopping somewhere, I might pay a little bit more at the kiosk than I would at the warehouse store.
Right.
And I'm all right with that because it's all right there in one location.
Convenience.
And I feel like Yieldly is going to be that. Like, you're going to fly in from another blockchain, swap it out for Yieldly, and then from your Yieldly, you're going to be able to buy some music NFTs. You're going to be able to buy some gem stuff. You're going to be able to buy your Netflix style Xfinity, your subscription stuff.
That's amazing.
That's what I think Yieldly's going towards.
Yeah. And then, like, just with that statement you just said, you see the value in it already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where, you see the price, you see the value, and you say, well, that's undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yieldly is a layer 2. I mean, they're an ASA, but they're positioning themselves to be almost like the layer 1 would act like for all of these ASAs.
Or ASAs.
Algorand doesn't really want to do that. They want the institutional side of it, not the retail side of it.
Right.
And I respect that. I think that's a cool aspect, and I think that in the long run, the audience is huge. And if you get those businesses bought in, like, everything else will follow.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention too, the Lofty AI. I'm loving what they're doing with that too.
Oh yeah. Lofty is up to, man, it was over 2.5 million, I think, vested with Lofty. I was actually trying to get Lauren to invest $50 at Lofty the other day. We didn't get that far.
No.
But
I did it a couple weeks ago.
It was super easy, right?
Very easy.
I think they have a site that is easy to attract people from outside of our ecosystem too.
Yes, that. Like, when I went to their website and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is very appealing for people that are not in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very easy.
You on ramp via ACH or Visa card or debit card or something.
Visa, debit. Yep.
And it was like, okay, so I didn't need to know about crypto already. And they post everything on their website. I mean, I think I made like $2 or something rent, right?
Yeah, I made a couple.
Right.
I made it like a couple dollars, but my main thing was just watching it work.
Yeah, same thing here. I was just happy to be part of that world.
Yeah.
If you look at the Lofty, you could track some of that stuff in the Explorer app, though. There are some major investors in there. So you look at some people who've got like, it was $50 a coin. So it was, I don't know, but like $150,000, like US fiat invested and spread out between their, 20 different projects or what have you. So they've got some major investors who are putting in real cash into those properties. And I'm thinking, well, it's almost like they're spreading out their risk. You know what I mean? Like, they're not putting all their money in one house, so they're putting 10,000 here, 20,000 here, and they're spreading it out and still collecting a good amount of rental income, because you put in 150, like, you're making some pretty serious money there.
Right.
But they don't have any of the risk of the management fees, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Or doing the day-to-day stuff.
I was telling somebody about that the other day, because she does like real estate, and I was showing her Lofty, and she was asking about all these questions about the maintenance and all this stuff. I'm like, you don't have to worry about none of that.
Yeah.
Do you know how they handle that behind the scenes? Yeah.
So every house is its own LLC. And then Lofty has positioned themselves, and this is how they make money. They take a 1.5%, I think it's 1.5. Maybe don't hold my feet to the fire there, but I think it's a 1.5% management fee. So if they're
there
paying,
it is.
Yeah, but it's still not that much.
Right. I told her that, but I wasn't quite sure. But you just verified it for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're handling the maintenance issues and the contracts and lease agreements, all that kind of stuff. So that's how they're getting paid, and it's just like a traditional, real estate management company.
Perfect.
So it just so happens that they have 10,000 clients or whatever it is. I saw somebody on their Telegram group was like, "Hey, what's this address? I'm gonna go drive by and check it out." And I was like, "Man, I like, I don't blame you, but at the same time, that house is already leased. Like, what if you just had 10,000 people roll up past your house checking it out? Like, if you, like you might freak out a little bit, right?
Yeah, could you imagine walking outside? Everybody's out there. Hey, we all own this house.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Can you might need a little paint over here. Like, my kid will mow your lawn.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. So what attracted you to Algorand? Like, how did you first recognize it? Because you said you started off with like XRP and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I liked XRP, and I was attracted to the utility of XRP and the remittances and the institutional backing of XRP, the speed, relatively environmentally friendly because it doesn't have to be mined. So I'm not a fan of proof of work.
Right.
It burns a ton of energy consumption. So anyway, XRP had their deal with the Department of Justice. Is it DOJ or is it what's the agency that they're in trouble with right now? SEC, the SEC. Yeah. So, and I was looking around. I was like, well, okay, they may not make it through this. I don't know. And Michael B is the guy that turned me on to Algorand. So he's a fairly popular like XRP kind of influencer.
Yeah.
Said, hey, I just got into Algorand. Some people go check it out. So I checked it out. And, I researched it, found some of the Algorand originated content, and I'm an environmentalist already. I'm the guy that drives like the electric car. I pay extra.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Like I'm that guy. So it was a fairly easy switch for me to jump into Algorand, and it was relatively slow. I think my first purchase was like straight up like Coinbase. Like I wasn't very sophisticated about it. Okay. And on Coinbase at the time, I think I was making 6% APY. And I was like, well, shoot, like XRP is not paying any kind of APY. And then I started researching into, staking and rewards and how does this all work? And, that rabbit hole just goes deep. Yeah. And then the more I read, the more I read about Silvio. And, like, I was like, this dude's like serious.
That's what got me first.
Yeah.
Watching
like MIT professor.
Yeah.
You're like, touring, like the team's got the Nobel prize, and I was like, man, the crew that he's got together is like, these are the people that I want to be associated with. I think that's really cool. And it's always weird in crypto, like how we buy these tokens, these coins, or these NFTs, and it's difficult sometimes to remember that we don't actually own or invest in the company, right? Because then it would be a security.
Right.
So you have to invest in the product and just kind of hope that like their byproduct is going to have some intrinsic value, or you can utilize it in some other way.
Right.
So you invest in Algorand, but you're not investing in Algorand, the tech company.
Right.
Which is sometimes difficult. And that's why I think a lot of companies like XRP get in trouble with the SEC because they really blurred the line.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, invest in us. And, and then you're like, okay, well, that gets you in trouble. And I like that Algorand has always been really, really clear about that. They're like, listen, this is Algorand, the technology company, and we're working behind the scenes, the business to business stuff. And then there's the Algorand Foundation, which is overseas in like Singapore, I think.
Right.
And
they definitely learned from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, so they got to keep in compliance, and you just don't know exactly what's going on. Regulations could come down at any moment and just flip the script for everybody.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to be careful with in this space. What was crazy to me was like with Ripple in their cases, they've been talking to the SEC for the past 8 years about this, trying to get clarity. And I remember Schwartz even saying, look, we don't want somewhere where two years down the line, we're looking at a lawsuit for not trying to be compliant. And then what do you know, 2 years later, they get a lawsuit.
Yeah, they were actively trying to get regulation.
Trying.
Yeah. I mean, in some cases, the lawsuit might be one of the best things because it forces kind of like the judicial system to come up with some rules where the SEC was hesitant. My
thought behind it is they all know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that have cross platformed, people that work for the SEC that are now in crypto companies, and right, and people who come from cryptocurrency background, and now they work for the government in some way, shape, or form. Many for the SEC, and so like there's a lot of cross pollination going on. They definitely know what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what else? What else excites you about Algorand? This is all algo.
I don't know, Lauren, you want to talk about music NFTs again? Like I know that seems to be your hot topic lately.
Oh, do you sing, Lauren?
I do.
Okay.
You can find me on Spotify and all your big music platforms. I have a couple music videos out.
Okay.
Pretty fun. Yeah.
You should send the link. I think I sent I occasionally I'll put the links in like the descriptions or something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Send me the links. Yeah.
No, I will. But yeah, I don't know. I just always see NFTs as digital art, photography, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. I love photography, especially food photography, because food is life. But I want to see more on music, and I just feel like there's not enough. I just don't see a lot of it. And so that's just something I want to take part in. And I have a couple projects in mind that I want to do with different types of genres. I really love lo-fi. I feel like lo-fi is kind of a thing, especially with people in IT and people in crypto. While they're just, sitting in front of their computers day trading, they have the lo-fi going on in the background. Yeah, so lo-fi is one. I have yet to name that project, but then another project I want to do is specifically with my name, which is the sound that I already have. So I went from a Latin pop sound to a more like a poppy, kind of edgy rock, kind of like the Neighborhood, Sweater Weather. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that song. It's kind of like that kind of vibe. So like that's something I want to do as far as like with my name that's attached to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's definitely something I've been talking to Monty on doing. We just got to do it.
Yeah.
We just run out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not enough hours in the day.
I know. I see SeaWorld doing music too. He was in the chat group too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does some cool stuff. In fact, you got to send us your address. We'll send you a t-shirt. He's sending us a hat. He's got some hats.
I was going to tell you the same thing.
We sent him a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll swap info.
Yeah.
We got it. One of these times, like we should have like a full Zoom meeting with like everybody who produces content.
Right.
And that way we just incorporate everybody and get. I think like the more points of view, the better.
The better. How about the drone racing?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever seen this.
I didn't know drone racing was a thing either until Algorand got attached to it.
Yeah.
I was like, but
drone racing.
That's cool. So it's like remote control zone, and they've got like these big aerial like warehouses that are empty, and it almost like this is the nerd me. It almost looks like a Harry Potter, like what's that game they play with the snitch?
Is it Quidditch? Is that
Quidditch? Yeah. So the course reminds me of Quidditch because they got like the hoops where you got to like go through. But it's almost like an obstacle course kind of a thing, and they race these things around. And I don't know if you ever tried to pilot one of those things, but like it's not super easy.
No,
I wouldn't think
let
so.
Let alone going that fast. And they're expensive too. Yeah.
So expensive.
That's a cool audience.
So expensive. You crash those things. That's a couple thousand right there.
That's it.
Yeah. But
let's go see one of those.
What'd you say?
It's pretty cool. They just announced the Algorand like championship or something though. I don't know where it's held though.
I'd love to go see it.
If it's held in Dallas, Lauren, we'll go. Yeah, we should go check that out.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
But yeah, I didn't know it existed. We were just trying to figure out, like, we just started a Twitch channel because we were talking earlier about how do we get people from outside of the community. Well, Yieldly is sponsor with that esports group now. Boom, is it called Boom? I forget the name of it. So and now we've got the drone racing, and both of those communities are big on Twitch. And I was like, I'm not there, so I don't know if there's another influencer there, but it seems like that audience is already digital native, is like they're already in that world.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Maybe we should target them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an account there too. I just haven't been using it.
Yeah.
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 I don't do a whole lot of gaming stuff, so it's a whole new world for me. But I think
growing.
Yeah.
Twitch, I mean, it started out as gaming, and I went on there the other day, and now they have food, they have fashion, they have
that's growth.
Esports. Yeah, like they're growing, and so I definitely think now is the time.
Yeah.
If we want to get ahead of the game, like let's start the whole crypto thing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make that popular.
I'll have to figure that out.
There it is. Boom. Kryptoqueen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's already running our TikTok for us.
Oh yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know anything about TikTok. She's like, you got to be on TikTok. I'm like,
You
okay,
have to.
go for it. seems like a good idea. But it's just about getting that exposure.
Yeah. Did you I know without a doubt you got involved with governance.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yep. So like opting in, I split up my pot, a third, and a third. So I did a third for Algorand governance. I got a third still in my Yieldly staking stuff, and I got a third held out for NFTs and miscellaneous trading, that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
Did you divvy it up like that? Were you methodical, or like I feel like I overthunk it? Like I was worried. I was like, how do I do this?
At first I did it, and I was just like, dude, it's not that serious. Just put Algorand in another wallet that you don't touch and governance. Right. That's it. Sometimes I do that too. I'm like,
yeah. I was really worried. And then, what if I go below? Do I have the second wallet thing?
That's why I did that.
Yeah. So I think it's good. I guess there's only one big vote this session. I was under the impression there was going to be like a lot of votes, but I guess this initial session, there's only just the one big one, which is basically, do we penalize people more?
I remember when they were first talking about that on that Twitter meeting.
Yeah. It was a hot topic when it first came. Yeah. Now it seems like, I don't know, it's kind of quieted down, but like, so if somebody commits to governance and then there's an emergency and they got to take their algo out, should there be an early withdrawal penalty? And that's really the question. And there's pros and cons, I guess. The pros being anybody who's left, that's more algo rewards for them. So the APY goes up significantly, and there's over 100,000 in algo that's been withdrawn early, like just so far. Already, yeah. So there's people who are definitely like early withdrawing, that no doubt about it. And so they're already disqualified.
That was fast.
Yeah. Now, if they had been penalized at 8%, that would have been 800 extra algo to be dispersed against everybody else. And the more that happens, the more the higher the APY goes for everybody who's left.
I'd say
if you're greedy, if you want, yeah, right. I don't know. Like if you put money into like a 401k or something, and then you want to do like an early withdraw, or if you invest in like a CD. So we're talking about traditional finance stuff. If you take that money back out early, you're used to paying a withdrawal, getting some kind of a penalty. Like it might still be in your best interest, but if you need it, you need it, and you understand the risks.
That's why I don't see nothing wrong with the penalty.
Yeah. I'm option B. I'm okay. The other folks on the other side are, that may scare people from doing governance. It may hinder some people. And I'm thinking, I don't know if it's going to hinder them or if it's just going to make them commit more to staking. And it's true, the more staking that goes on, the more out of circulation algo there is.
Right.
It could be good for, price action, I think is what they're worried about, right?
And it's like nobody's putting a gun in your head. You don't have to govern it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to do it.
So I mean, I see the pros and cons from both sides.
Yeah.
I just think personally, I think I would like to hire APY.
Love it. I would love it.
Yeah. So earlier you asked me about Yieldly. Are there any other projects that you're into as well? Any other ASAs that are caught your eye besides the Yieldly train?
The Opulous.
Opulous, yeah.
Yeah. I watched a few videos with you and Lee Parsons too. And he came from Ditto.
Yep.
And then you got the new guy, I forget his name. He just came from TuneCore, but those are two streaming platforms, and they're coming together on Algorand. I just feel like something bigger is cooking behind the scenes.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out who his new partnership was, and then he announced Line. And he posted it in green, so everybody was kind of hypothesizing. Okay, so is that Spotify? Because Spotify is green. I was thinking it might be Hulu, because right, because if you buy Spotify, you get a Hulu subscription, and then I was thinking, well, Hulu needs like a music channel. They could do something like that. They've already got the subscriber base. Turns out it wasn't them.
Yeah,
but it was Line. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hulu comes out with something like that in the future.
Yeah.
But Line's pretty popular too with people who are gaming, or it's kind of like a Telegram from what I gather. I haven't used Line in a long time, but we used to use it for gaming. So if you played like back in the day like World of Warcraft or something, you would have a Line channel for what we're doing now. Basically, it was just voice only conference calls. And you could be anywhere in the world, and you'd have your Line channel while you're playing your video game.
Okay.
A lot of those games have it like built in now, but that's where Line came from initially. That's how I know Line.
Yeah. Sweet.
So we'll see what happens there. But you're right. That dude is like a hype machine. He is bound and determined to make Opulous, like a $10 coin, I think.
Yeah.
It's hovering right now about like what $1.67 or $1.70 or something like that. Last I looked, it gotten up to like 184 or something recently. I mean, I've seen a bunch of fluctuations, but the stuff he's
like
doing.
115 when it came out, when it dropped. Where did it drop on KuCoin?
Oh yeah, that's where it was initially.
Yeah. I said to myself, as soon as it dropped, I was like, I know this price is gonna go like crazy. As soon as it came. Kept going up. I'm like, damn, I gotta buy. So I end up buying, and now I'm just sitting on it because I felt as though like with the research and in the background of that guy and just the videos that I've been watching about him speak about the product, it's definitely something that's going to be appealing. You know what I mean? It's like it's a no-brainer. Then you have copyrights involved.
Yeah. And he's the other projects, the NFTs, the music NFT stuff, where they're basically splitting up the royalties. Like that's a whole separate product.
Yeah.
And that stuff is really cool. So like I feel like now the brand of Opulous is much more valuable. So he's got Soulja Boy, he's got Lil Pump, he's got all these people who are kind of pushing his product, and that platform that he's using, Republic. I don't know if you've seen that, but Republic has done a bunch of stuff, mainstream, financing and helping people raise money. And I think that platform is going to get a lot of attention from people who are outside of the normal investors as well. So you're bringing in new money. And once somebody's like, okay, well, I'm already in this world. What else is here?
What else?
Since I'm here, you can't go to like a Target or someplace and only buy one thing. Like once you're there already, you're like, well, what else do I need since I'm here? So that's what I'm hoping for once they're already in the Algorand community with an NFT or something. Well, since I'm here, let me see what else is here.
Absolutely.
I love your intros. Your intros are always like an anthem for me.
Oh yeah. I try to get people hype and excited before they come in.
Yeah. It always feels like, man, okay, I'm pumped up now. I'm ready to go.
Yes. Let's go. Man. Oh, so what I was going to ask before we got cut off, the El Salvador, I know they added Bitcoin as like legal tender, but then there's something going on with Algorand. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. So they have Bitcoin as legal tender there, and so you can pay taxes with it. You can pay for you can work with the government in Bitcoin,
That's
and
cool.
really like it's almost like the government was buying the dip. Kind of,
Mm,
at some points in time, they're like, man, our currency is crap. They were, trying to use the US dollar, and they were like, okay, we'll just forget that. We'll just use Bitcoin. And so the government just recognized it, like, hey, inflation is nasty here. Like, if the government doesn't want to lose money, we better use something else. And Bitcoin was easy. Plus,
Yeah.
their leader is kind of a younger guy. He's kind of a millennial, and he's like, he wanted to be on the cutting edge and make some waves,
Yeah.
bring some attention,
That's what I saw.
which is cool. But it turns out like there was a lot of backlash on it, and it's not quite going as well as they were hoping. Behind the scenes, though, what is it? It's Koi Banks, right? They have partnered with the government to run almost everything else that is like government to government. So, if you need to transfer funds from department to department, or their internal budgeting, so they're like, okay, so we need to send money to the Department of Health, or to the military, or to the, whatever it is, like all that stuff is all handled in Algorand behind the scenes. So the interoperability between the government agencies is all Algorand, as well as they're trying to incorporate, the vaccine passport stuff, and how was it Bermuda? Who's doing the medical stuff on Algorand? I don't know if it's Bermuda or the Bahamas. It's one of those island nations there,
Yeah.
Caribbean stuff. But their medical facilities and records are working with Algorand too. So
cool.
Huge.
behind the scenes, it's Algorand, but public facing, they wanted Bitcoin.
Yep.
I think because Bitcoin had a bigger name,
Yep.
and more people
Yeah.
had name recognition, but
Yeah.
functionality wise, they didn't want that slippage between departments. They didn't want to have to, if they were using
Wait a day.
yeah, they didn't want to use ETH. They didn't want to, high transfer fees, right? So they found the trilemma, and they were like, okay, so we need Algorand. So
Yeah.
it seems really cool. I wish it got a little more publicity, but
Yeah.
small steps.
Yeah.
It'll get there.
What'd you say?
Oh, it'll get there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think with Algorand, they're not shouty.
Yeah. They're not like Opulous.
Right.
Right. They don't have that Lee Parsons who's like shouting out from the tops of the treetops, the mountains, to everybody who will listen. They're not trying to get celebrity endorsements.
Right.
They're just trying to like build the groundswell and do it kind of almost grassroots, but it's grassroots from a business to business standpoint.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So now that they'll have enough advocates and enough infrastructure to the point where I think it will, help them out long term.
Sweet. One last question before you go, unless Lauren, you have anything to add. But I was going to ask, do you see any like working in betweens with Quant and Algorand? Because I was seeing Quant recently they're doing a lot of interoperability with different DLT technologies.
I haven't heard of anything specifically.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I haven't heard anything specifically.
Yeah.
I have the most interoperability, the stuff that I see with Algorand is more like like wrapped assets.
Right. Okay.
We got the wrapped algo coming in. We've got the F asset coming in with the Flare network.
The Flare network. Yeah.
Yeah. That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no like joint projects that I've seen specifically.
Sweet. Anything else to add, Lauren?
Cool. I just want to say, like, I'm super happy to be here. I think it's awesome that, Monty, like I told you earlier, Monty saw that I had an interest in learning all of this, and he just kind of took me under his wing. So I think it's super great that I'm able to be a part of the Algorand community and to be able to work on all these projects and stuff before, like, Algorand, it's huge, but it's still it's still a juvenile in a sense. Like it's still a baby.
Right.
It still has so much more potential to grow and become just this huge thing. And so I think it's super awesome that I just get to be a part of this. I think honestly I'm super lucky.
Yeah.
So I just think it's great.
It's cool. We get to see like, the beginnings of like DeFi startups, the Zestbloom startup. Our own NFT project is coming out of Zestbloom. As soon as they can go live, I think probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. Climate Trade, Planet Watch, all these companies it's just really cool to kind of be involved with them early on.
Yeah.
Oh, and Decipher. Are you going to Decipher?
I haven't deciphered yet.
Oh, you gotta make that decision, pull the trigger, and come down to Miami, or at least do the virtual thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely do that because I know there's going to be some good nuggets in there.
We are going to go there, and we just hired a developer who's going to go down there. So there's going to be 3 of us who are down there. Trying to figure out, okay, who do we talk to? Like how do we divvy up our time? And we're going to interview people, get their reactions.
I was going to ask you if you're going to have your camera down there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they said we can kind of set up, catch people's reactions as they're entering. They've got like a registration booth or something like that. We'll probably give away some T-shirts. It should be a cool thing. And it'll be cool. I'm trying to convince him to let me go on the stage and do some introductions for people, and I'll play host for a little bit if they let me.
That'd be awesome,
right?
That'd be really awesome.
So it's just great to like be around all of those people, like you said, and hear those nuggets that get dropped. And I'm sure there's going to be some major announcements that come out. And we're just hoping that like our own projects are kind of up and running by then. So if you go check out kryptonurd.com, like we're trying to put together almost like a Yelp style, like a community feedback community, like rating system. So you go to the website, you find a new project, you give them a review. And then you kind of like Yelp, we haven't figured out if we're going to do it on a 1 to 10 scale or 5 stars or something like that. But you're going to log in with AlgoPay, so we know you're from the community. And so that you've got a certain number of either the nerd coins or something that shows that you're part of the community, Algorand, something. And then you can rate projects. And then what we were talking about earlier, people getting scammed or not knowing what's going on or doing their own research, we can crowdsource all of that research.
Yeah. That's a perfect idea.
Right? Somebody, like, everybody's like checking it out already, and they're on Twitter, they're on Telegram, they're on Discord, they're trying to figure out, okay, what's the real project? Who's backing this? Are the people behind this real? What questions are there? Somebody,
I get hit with so many. I get hit with so many scams even still, but it's great to be in a position to recognize them like right away.
Yeah.
It really is, man.
I get hit with them just like you. People hit me up on Twitter, and I think I posted one in our chat the other day. I was like, hey, have you guys heard of this one? And it was that social media one.
Yeah.
Right. And we got together there, the 5 or 6 of us that chimed in. We're like, nope, that one's not real. so that one on the Kryptonurd website, if that one got added, that'd have like a half-star rating. You know what I mean? So you could keep the community safe. The community could be like, hey, instead of DMing us and trying to get it, because we don't have enough to reply back, we could just say, hey, go check out the site. Here's what the community says as a whole. Yeah, they think this one's trash, or they think this one's awesome. Like Opulous has got 5.5 stars. Can't even get 5.5, but but everybody loves them. So like a Yelp style review, I think would be good. And then businesses would understand too, like, okay, how do we communicate with people? If they go on there and they put a bad review because they couldn't get in touch with anybody, or they lost their coins because of this, or something was then it would give the companies valuable feedback too, and hold them accountable, I think.
That's awesome.
Right. So that we're really stoked about that. So hopefully we'll have a minimum viable product available by the time Decipher rolls around. We can show it to some people.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I like I said before, I appreciate you so much and what you're doing with your channel. The quality is like I told you before, what got me, and just keep doing that, man. I love it. I'm thankful.
Right. Rising tides float all ships. So we're all in this together, man.
That's right.
Cool.
We have a good one. So great to meet you, Lauren.
You too. This is fun.
Yes.
Thanks for your time. Sorry we got like interrupted halfway through. You're gonna have to like splice some videos together.
No worries. I'll do some editing.
All right, man. Well, good catching up. We'll have to do this again soon.
We definitely will. You have a good one.
All right. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Cause it's the standard in this bitch. XRP. I went to YouTube University, and now they mocking me with no degree. We saying by the swift, keep it walking. Respect your elders in these bushes. Bitcoin is talking.